Hi, this is Victoria Nowley, and here with me again is Mr. Stephen Dell. He is a senior lecturer in energy law at the Center for Energy, Petroleum, Mineral Law and Policy at the University of Dundee. So in this video, we are still responding to the comments and questions from our viewers. And this was a comment from Asaf, who's from Ghana, and he wanted Mr. Stephen Dell to talk about royalty rate of gas and also gas appraisal. But before we start on that topic, I'd like Mr. Stephen Dell to briefly introduce himself again. Mr. Stephen.
Hi, I'm Stephen Dow. I'm Senior Lecturer in Energy Law at the Centre for Energy, Petroleum and Mineral Law and Policy at the University of Dundee. I have 20 years experience of teaching students from all around the world, including Victoria, and hopefully reaching a wider audience now through this.
All right, thank you very much for the introduction. As I mentioned in my previous video, most of our viewers were pleased by the videos we did with Stephen Dow, and Asaf, particularly from Ghana, wanted you to talk about royalty rate of gas and also gas appraisals. I think this will be a short video since we covered most of these things in our previous videos.
The key to understanding royalty rates for gas is to compare them to oil. The point of an oil royalty is to recognise that there's rent in the oil price. What happens for rent is the cost of production is, say, $20 a barrel, and the oil price is, let's say for today, $65 a barrel. So there is $45 a barrel of rent to fight about, to argue over, to allocate, to tax. And all a royalty does is simply top slice that rent. It simply says there will be a fixed number, a fixed percentage, and it will simply take that. Right? It's a very easy way for governments to capture money. It's mechanically simple, it's straightforward. And it's obvious in oil because there is that rent. Most of the time, if the oil price collapses, there's less rent, there's a problem, but that's a different story. Most of the time, there is rent in oil and you simply tax it. The problem in gas is that's just not true. Almost all gas is dug up and burned locally. Right? We'll come to exported gas in a second. But where you dig up the gas and use it locally, what happens is you regulate the local price, and you want the price to be as low as possible. The entire point of using your own resources in your own country is to benefit development, to benefit energy, to get energy as cheaply as possible. If you put a royalty onto that gas, all you're doing is you're driving up the local price. The whole point of regulating the price is to drive the rent out. You know, if you dig up at $20, you sell at $20. That's the point. And that's why gas royalties and oil royalties are completely different, simply because the amount of money involved is completely different. And now remember that if you put a local royalty in, all you're doing is raising the local price. Now, I said I'd come back to the export. Obviously, if you're exporting gas to a neighbouring country or as LNG, then now you're looking for the rent. Part of the point of that export is to earn money. And the government says, it's our resource, we will top slice it in the same way as we top slice oil. So what happens is, for all intents and purposes, exported gas and LNG looks much more like the oil model than domestic gas looks like the oil model. So that's the reason why they're different, because the models are different. And I was also asked to say something about appraisals before we get there. Yes. The appraisal period. Gas appraisal periods are typically longer than oil appraisal periods for the very simple reason gas is more complicated. To get gas, you need the infrastructure up front. You can't start small, or you can start small scale, but you need pipe all the way to the user. It's not like oil where you can start with an off-take tanker and then build a pipeline later, etc., etc., etc. Gas needs the infrastructure up front. If you start with no infrastructure at all, you simply need time to build it. And what's more, in gas, you're going to build infrastructure which future producers are going to share in as well. So you need all the future producers to commit or to get into the system of commitment before you can actually build the infrastructure, and it just takes longer periods of time.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen Dow. Actually, the name was Asari Dennis, who's from Ghana. He's the one who asked you to talk about gas appraisals and royalty. Thank you, Stephen Dow. Asari, you've got your answer. Stay tuned. Do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the next video, we shall still respond to some comments from our viewers. Thank you.